a very upsetting video this week. Did you see the video of the pastor from Missouri who talked about how women let themselves go after marriage and should look better for their husbands and how it's women's fault that men cheat?
Yes, yes, I've seen this video. It's crazy. It's
I
so
want to
bad.
watch it and I want to react to it with you.
So bad. And my thing with it is just like, as you'll see in the video, like, bro, you're fat too. Like, you ain't got no room to talk. Like, he's no fit Hercules by any means. So I guess that means women have a right to cheat if their husbands aren't, Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
But here,
Yes.
let's view just a segment of this. Horrible. And of course, this is just a couple minutes, but
And ladies, here's the thing you need to know about men. Don't give him a reason to be like this distracted boyfriend. You hear me? Don't give him a reason to be looking around. Hello? So, okay. Why is it so many times that women, after they get married, let themselves go? Why is it? Why do they do that? Now, look, I'm not saying every woman can be the epic trophy wife of all time, like Melania Trump. I'm not saying that at all. Now, most women can't be trophy wives, but you know, like her, maybe a participation trophy. I don't know, but all I can say is not everybody looks like that. Amen. Not everybody looks like that. But you don't need to look like a butch either. But you say, how can I do that? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. I'm so glad you asked that question because you're in my office, you and your husband, and we're talking about your marriage, and you've asked me this question about what can I do about that. All right, if you were sitting in my office, here's the first thing I'd say to you, and boy, I hate to say that. This is why I don't do marital counseling anymore, and that is weight control. So how important is this? Let me tell you something. I have a friend. He has put a divorce weight on his wife. That's how important this is. You know, makeup is a good thing. You know, one little boy said to the other boy, why do girls wear makeup and perfume? He said, because they're ugly and they stink. You don't want to be ugly and stink. Scientists have discovered, by the way, a food that diminishes a woman's sex drive. It's called wedding cake. Yeah.
I have so many thoughts on this. He's so confident, and I want to know what his other sermons are, honestly. If he
right
thought that like talking like that
is
was like,
acceptable.
yeah, like my congregation is really going to respond to me telling women that they're the problem, um and telling men that they have no responsibility in it whatsoever to like keep their wife interested as well. It's such an
Right.
antiquated like way of thinking. But you're right, he's not attractive, and not that that is a huge factor.
It's not, but if you're
But
going to get up and preach that it
yeah,
is a factor, you need to fit that bill. Like,
that all women
I'm
need to be
not
trophy
saying
wives.
that that is, the most important thing, but if you're going to get up and literally preach that it is, you should probably look in the mirror and make sure you're looking your best too.
Well, and then to sit there and he's like, you should be a trophy wife, but none of you are going to be because you can't reach this
Right?
level. And you're like, people marry the person because they're attracted to them physically, mentally, spiritually, all of it. And then to just come out and be like,
And then for him to say weight control is a
oh,
factor, like that may just be your thing. Like I know many men who prefer larger women.
there is actually a study as well that when you get into a relationship, you gain weight because you're happy. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. And it's when people start to lose weight, um, that they're sometimes they're thinking about leaving, so they're trying to get back into their prime shape to attract somebody else. Yeah, typically when you get into a relationship, you do put on weight because you're happy and you're putting on weight together.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
whenever you're in a relationship and you truly feel loved, you're confident and you're not so paranoid about your body as much. You're like, I know that this person loves me and I know that they love me unconditionally. So I don't have to give up everything that I absolutely love in order to keep them here because they love me. They're not going to care. Why can I not enjoy this wedding cake with my spouse for fear of gaining 2 or 3 pounds? Like, which you're not going to gain from one piece of wedding cake. But
You know what's funny too is, he's talking about how after you get married, you put on this weight and you become undesirable. Well, you know what happens to a lot of people after they get married? They start having children. They
right.
start building their
Well,
lives
and
together.
that segment didn't show it, but he even goes into the one couple, that he was counseling, and told, the wife that the weight control is the issue. He's like, and she lost some weight, and guess what happened? Within the next year, she's pregnant again. Well, it must have worked. Like, and then it was like she was pregnant with her second kid. So it's like, so then the first time
Yeah, it
she had to
worked.
wait, it could have possibly been because she had a damn kid.
Well, not to
Like her
mention
body's gonna
too,
change from that.
well, not to mention that sometimes when you do have extra weight, you have trouble getting pregnant. So you can't say like, oh, he was unattractive and he didn't want to have sex with her
Right.
because she was unattractive. It could have been completely unrelated. She could have had weight from her other pregnancy. Who now knows how old that kid was too? I mean, you
Yeah.
don't just lose baby weight. That just, it doesn't just fall off
Well,
overnight.
and I mean, a lot of women, whenever you get pregnant, it changes the shape of your
Yes.
body. Like, and it's not so much that you've gained a lot of weight after the pregnancy because I lost with my first one. I didn't even gain any weight. I just lost weight. Um, but it changes the way it's shaped because your
Yeah.
hips get broader because you've got to give birth to a kid. You get more of the hourglass figure and less of the really skinny teen adolescent shape.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that, where it's not as voluptuous,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. Because you're a mom, you have the bigger breasts, you have the bigger hips. And that happens to many women, not all, but many. And so like he's just so full of shit. Like there's just nothing else to say. Like you're full of shit and I know that he's never going to listen to our podcast, but if he does, I want him to know he's a hideous, full of shit, pathetic, horrible pastor.
He honestly, he should
So,
lose
and
his
it's so
job.
single-minded because
Yeah.
so many people do not agree with that. Like they
Yeah. It
just
was,
don't agree.
he gave his sermon with so much confidence. It's just like he gave it with the confidence that like he was going to like change the entire world with the sermon. Like we would all wake up and go, "Oh my
Oh,
God,
I
is that
gotta
my
lose
issue?"
weight. I'm gonna change because my weight's really
If I just put on a little bit of makeup every day and spray
yeah.
myself with perfume, it's going to attract men. I don't know that I've ever put on makeup for a man. I put on makeup for myself and I put
I'm
my makeup
exactly.
on to get complimented by other women when I go out.
Yeah.
That's why I do my
Like I
makeup.
like to put on my makeup because it makes me feel good about myself.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with anyone else that's going to be looking at me. It is
No.
100% for myself because I like how I look whenever I have makeup on. I don't give
Yeah.
two shits what some guy walking down the street thinks. I don't give two shits even what my spouse thinks. Like I don't care. Like it's
Those
for me. It's not for anybody else.
those comments of women getting like I saw one of a woman who was doing her makeup on the train and some guy was like, "Oh, I prefer women with a more natural look." And she's like, "I'm not doing my makeup to attract you." Like,
Yeah, like
why would you say that to a stranger who's like, "Oh, I can see that you're doing your makeup. I don't like it.
I don't
Congratulations,
give a
it's not
fuck.
for you."
Don't watch me. I don't
you're like you're
care.
like that's nice because I wasn't trying to attract you. So like get out.
I don't like people butt into other people's business.
Mm-mm.
So there we go. We don't like each other.
Anybody that just like randomly inputs themselves into my like conversation about something that has nothing to do with them, like, excuse you, random stranger, why are you coming up to me
Yeah.
and giving me your opinion on something you are not involved in?
Right.
Yeah, he's a nutbag.
A nut bag, a whole bag of nuts.
Yeah, he
All of
just,
them.
you know, women gain weight. You gain weight as you're older. It gets harder to lose weight. Men gain weight when they get older. Men's bodies change. It's not single-handed. And also relationships work when you work at them.
Right.
It's not so simple as, hey, if you just stay skinny, your boyfriend will stay, because there's tons of skinny like people who get cheated on.
Well, and the thing is if I'm with someone and their love for me is contingent upon my
Yes.
weight,
Don't
then
want
get
to be
the
with
fuck
them.
out, and I don't want you to be here.
What's what
Like,
they said? The
there's
person.
so much more to me than what the scale says. Like, if the
Well, and
other attributes about me aren't what you're in love with, then I'm not the one for you. And that's just, and my thing is like he's preaching this while he's supposed to be preaching God's unconditional love, and you're sitting here saying that love is conditional. Like, you have to
yeah,
fit this mold, which, I mean, let's be real, a lot of religion is that way, but I mean, it's just so wrong.
yeah. And I have seen, he's talking about the weight clause in divorce and prenups.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that. It's disgusting. I would never enter a marriage with somebody who had, you can only weigh between this weight and this weight. Like, how dare you? And, eventually we're going to be old and disgusting together. Is your plan not to get old and disgusting with me? Because that's what I want. I want to be, 80 years old and we look like the stereotypical, like, old grandparents, and we still look at each other like we're madly in love, because
Yeah.
we are madly in love.
Right.
And you're not going to look like this. You can have all the plastic surgery in the world and you still will not look like you did when you got married, unless you get
Right.
married at that age.
Yeah. It's
I can't with him. I can't. I have so many feelings on it, and none of them are positive for him.
Yeah.
The other article related to body and body image that upset me recently, it's been going around for a few weeks. The OnlyFans mom, the mother of 3 boys in a Catholic school whose children got expelled because she does OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because she did anything wrong. She wasn't posting pictures with them. She wasn't advertising at the school. She wasn't doing anything wrong. A group of other moms printed out her pictures, took them to the principal, and went, kick her kids out. And who does that help? Like, if somebody was like, oh, I don't like what you do in your free time, your kids can't go to school here.
Right.
What?
Like, first, if you disagree with the way that a parent is parenting, which that's not even parenting, that's what she's doing in her own spare time.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with her kids whatsoever, other than the funds maybe helping pay for that school.
Because those private schools are not cheap.
No. You know what? I mean, it's like, if I felt a child was being neglected or mistreated, I'm not going to cast them out for it. Instead, I would be like inviting them over to play with my kid more often, or, to try and give them more of the wholesome environment if I felt they weren't getting that at home. Although it's none of my damn business, anyways, if they're not being mistreated. But I'm just saying that would have been the Christian way to handle them, the Catholic way or whatever. That would have been what they should have.
The human way is compassion,
right?
Just being a decent human being and not being like, because those kids had no
But
idea.
the non-religious way is just to not butt in. Mind your own damn business. If nobody's being abused, it is none of your damn business.
Like, how did they even find it? They were on the site and find the pictures.
Their husband was probably paying for it.
Yeah.
Because they've gained some weight, and so they're having to go look elsewhere.
They saw his sermon, they made the correlation, and that's where we're at. Yeah, it was so crazy because those kids probably had no idea what their parents did, because I'm sure that she is a good mom who does not expose her children to that.
I feel that the school's more traumatic on the kids than what their mom's doing when they're not around.
Yeah, now they have to switch schools. They have to make all new friends. They have to, and then eventually they're going to see this. They're going to find out. And it's possible too that when they go to their new school, other people will know. and
Yeah.
they will find out and they'll be ostracized for it, for something that was completely unavoidable because it was done by consenting adults in the privacy of their own home on their free time. Which I do like this. He is a great husband because he started doing this
The woman's
because his
husband?
wife had gone, yes, the woman's husband. He's fantastic. I'm very pro him. He wanted to make his wife feel more confident after she went through early menopause. She wasn't feeling very confident in her body. He said, I want to take a few pictures of you in a bikini. They posted it to Reddit and she blew up on Reddit. People loved her. And he posted that because he goes, my wife is attractive and I want other people to see it. And when other people saw it, she, because your husband can say it all day long and you're like,
Right.
you know that your husband thinks that you're attractive and you're like, but
Whenever you have a good husband that doesn't follow the rules of this other pastor, when you have a normal, loving
loving husband,
relationship where it's non-conditional or unconditional and they love you for who you are, when they tell you that you're beautiful, you're like, well, of course I'm beautiful to you.
yep. And it's not even, it's not that, I even care what other people think, but it's always nice, to hear that,
it's just a
somebody,
confidence booster,
yeah.
especially if you're feeling down,
Yeah, exactly. I got complimented when I went out a couple nights ago, and it was immediately a confidence boost because I had rushed through getting ready. I knew that I was like, oh, I look okay. But then, a girl complimented me when I was out, and I was like, oh, thank you. Like, this is what I needed today. And so the fact that this man saw that his wife was struggling and found a way to help her see how beautiful she truly is phenomenal, and he should be applauded for it. And instead, his wife is being ostracized. And he actually, because she was so popular on Reddit, they created the OnlyFans together and he films all her content. So it's truly a partnership for them and they both enjoy it and they're both like having fun and it's bonding. You
Yeah.
can't choose how you bond with your partner. Like,
Yeah.
that is
It's
one of my
just
biggest
terrible for them to
fears,
treat
though.
the children that way.
Mhm.
They play no role in that whatsoever. They should not be punished for what their parents are doing.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
it
my
would be
biggest
like,
fear.
oh, you robbed this bank. Well, we're gonna put your kids in jail for it.
Yeah.
That's not how we do things. That may have been how things were done many, many years ago, and it was, but it's not how we do things here in America today. That is not how things are done. We're not, we don't follow the indentured servitude top path where your kids have to take on your debts and your transgressions, and they have to pay for your sins. That's just not how it's done.
As it shouldn't be. I mean, there's no
No.
reason because you're a kid. You can't control what happens up until then, and it's ridiculous that people are having those issues.
Yeah.
And I like that the OnlyFans movement is becoming popular. I think it's great. I think that if you are a consenting adult and you want to make content and make some extra money, especially in this time when so many people have lost their jobs, why can't you do it?
Right.
And one of my fears is always, well, I can't do something like that because what if this happens to me and somebody sees my picture because they were on the site themselves and they
Right.
saw it,
That's the
and
thing
then they
is
and then they give it to my boss, my church, my kids' school. They ruin my life with it. And it's very disheartening.
isn't
And
there like a clause on OnlyFans against them doing that?
I hope so. I've
Saving
never looked
pictures
into
or
it.
printing them out or anything? Because then those people that are paying for the subscription could just do that and distribute them themselves. I feel like there's got to be some sort of clause saying you're not allowed to do
There,
that.
you know what though, with something like that, it's not easy to police. It's the same reason that
No,
catfishing is
I
such
know,
a
but
big
I'm saying
industry.
could she come back and sue those mothers for
It's
distributing her
possible.
pictures without her
She
permission?
could
Well,
definitely sue them
actually,
for
isn't that
slander.
illegal anyways to distribute someone else's photos without their
That's true, without their knowledge, and they did. They
She
printed
should
them
come
out
back
and they
to
gave
jail.
them to somebody else. But even if it wasn't just like handing out the photos, they slandered her name.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, she got more popular after, but I
So
mean, her kids got kicked
I
out
would
of
be looking
school.
into legal. I mean, like,
I absolutely would as well, especially with all the extra income that she has. She can get a really good
yeah,
lawyer.
thank you for paying for this lawyer for me to sue your ass. I
Yeah,
appreciate
right?
it.
Yeah, it makes no sense that we have this industry that we are more body positive, inclusive, sex positive, and there's still just that stigma and that fear of like, I can't do this because what if somebody sees me? But also, if they see you, they were there themselves. You know,
I mean, I
I've posted on those sites, and that's always a big thing.
I so when I was going through a breakup with one of my girlfriends, my second long-term girlfriend, um, I had lost a lot of confidence. I was feeling down on myself, and I had joined a group on Facebook. Of course, this was before Facebook was removing every single possible thing under the sun that they could find to remove. But I joined a group, and that's actually where I met Sagan's dad, like my husband now, was in this group. And it was the main thing that helped me was that all the other women in the group, like, so, and a lot of the pictures weren't even like revealing or anything. They would just be, like, I'm feeling really good about myself today, and post pictures, and it may be just like in a bra or something. But um, a lot of the other women, and it was mostly the women, would be like, "Oh my God, you look amazing! You look gorgeous!" That, and it like boosted my confidence so much. Whenever I was like, made me feel so much better about my body and my image, and it wasn't that I was selling pictures or doing anything like that. It was just having that group, and it was a small group, and it was very exclusive. Like everybody in the group had to say, "Yeah, we want this person to join," type thing. And it really helped with my confidence levels, and that's where I met Sagan's dad. I'm sure
I
if my family hears this, now they're gonna know where we met. We met in a group that shared
yeah,
photos, and I mean, some of them were a lot more like they would share some pretty, um,
revealing.
both men and women. But the thing was, is that, and it wasn't just like we had some trans people in there, we had some gay people in there, and like even like if my husband posted a photo of himself, before he was my husband, like some of the gay guys would be like, "Ooh, you look really hot." You'd be like, "Thanks so much." Like it made all of us so confident in our own sexuality, that him as a straight man, it made him feel good to even have the gay men, say, "Hey,
Yeah,
you look really good." It's like, "Thank you." Like I genuinely
it's never
appreciate that because he wasn't feeling threatened, like that it's going to change who he is. It just made him feel good about himself, and it was just really
but
good for both of us.
I've started complimenting people when I'm out. So if I see something and I'm like, oh, this person has a really cool shirt. Oh, this person has really nice hair. Oh, this person, like, they're just killing it with their glasses. I'll make sure, like, I'll stop them and be like, that's a great top. You look super happy. Just saying that, because you never know what somebody is thinking and how their day is going, and that really can turn around, because maybe they were like iffy about what they were wearing, or they just got a new haircut, and then you're like, no, this looks good, and then they're like, okay, now I'm feeling better. It's that confidence boost that I don't feel like we do enough in this society, of just like lifting each other up.
Yeah. 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 It's good to, and the only problems with it is that, if it's a stranger, which it's okay if it's like, you're telling another girl that, but so many people have so many jealousy issues
Yeah,
that they view anyone who is complimenting their person as a threat. And I
yeah,
don't understand that. Like if I was out to eat with my loved one and the waiter or waitress is flirting with them and stuff, I'm like, hey, maybe we'll get a discount, or maybe they'll actually, give us some great service, or, hey, whatever. I don't care. Like it's not, doesn't mean that they're going home, and taking
yeah,
a person. It just means that I'm with an attractive person. Like I consider
exactly.
that a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And so many people view that bad, like,
It should be noted too. I mean, if you're out with somebody and you feel genuinely that if the waiter hits on them, you're worried that your partner who's out with you is going to go home with that waiter. I mean,
you've got
shouldn't you be
trust
seeing it
issues.
hurt then?
Yeah, then
You
there
know?
are some trust issues there. And I don't know if it's from, whether it's from someone had cheated in the relationship, or, you've got those issues, that's not that waiter or waitress's fault.
Yeah. That's something that I hate with people who cheat is the blaming of the person who's not your partner.
Yeah.
If your partner cheats on you, you blame that other person. And it just never made sense to me because that
hate
other
that too.
person, that other person, they're not the one that made a commitment to you.
Right.
And even, they didn't promise to not cheat on you. Your partner did it. It sucks that it happened, but something that I've heard too, because I have dated married men. If it's not me, it will be somebody else. If somebody wants to cheat, they will.
They're
It's
going
not
to
that.
cheat. Whether
Yeah,
it's
like
this person, that person, the waiter or waitress, if they want to cheat, they're going to cheat.
yeah,
They'll
and
find someone.
it never made sense. But something I do like is I saw a meme recently, and it was this girl, and she goes, I found out that my boyfriend was cheating on me, so I messaged the girl on Instagram. We hung out and we posted a picture of us hanging out together. I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then she goes, and this man really saved our photo, posted it to his Instagram story, and said, both my girls together looking so cute. Like, incredible. That's a good play to do. But I mean, if you're both dating the same person, obviously you have something in common.
Yeah.
And why would you, hate that person, ostracize that person, whatever, when you could be friends with them?
If the person I'm with cheats on me with someone and I find out about it, I'm more the type, of course, I've dated both men and women. I'm more the type who I'm going to go for them.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you thought they liked you? Just wait till they meet me.
Right. Or I'm going to thank them for exposing this so I'm not wasting more time with this person in my life.
Yeah. Because you do.
You only live once. I'm not going to waste my time with someone that's not going to, that I can't trust.
Especially habitual cheaters where it's like, that they cheated. And I have cheated in relationships. And one thing that I did was I went back and I kind of looked and I'm like, why did I cheat? What was it that made me cheat? And, I found the root cause. And for me, it's if somebody's not spending quality time with me, if I don't feel like I'm the priority, I need to feel it. And it's not like, oh, she needs to be texted 27 times a day and needs to, be constantly validated. But I've been in a lot of relationships where I wasn't even on their radar. And I thought that was normal. I'd have people who are like, oh, I'm just going to see you for once a week for a couple hours. And that's just it. And they're like, well, I talk to you during the day. And it's like, yeah, but if I have an issue and I, really need you, you don't come and you don't care. And so those are the times that I would cheat because I needed support and I tried to get it from my partner and I didn't get it from my partner and I would get it from somewhere else. And knowing that I have cheated and that's the root cause, it made me more aware. So in the future, I can be like, okay, if somebody is not giving me the support I need to stop seeing that person and find somebody who will give me the support I need so that I don't cheat because, nobody likes cheating. I feel like, you don't feel good afterwards, at least not long term.
Right. I know when I've cheated in the past, and I especially did with my first husband at the very end of the marriage, because he did some things to me and took control and power over me that I wanted back. And so my way of getting that back was to cheat, and it didn't even have anything to do with sex, really. It had to do with, I want control over my body. You're not taking that from me. I will do whatever I want to with my own body. And so I think many times a cheater, it's because of something like that. It's not even so much about the sex as it is some other issue in the relationship.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah. And I feel like looking at cheating is not like, I think that you should try to work it out. I mean, there are some instances where I've seen people that just like cannot get past it. And if you can't get past it, you can't get past it. But the way that I always saw is like, if you truly love this person, let's say this is the first time that they cheated, if you can find a way to kind of like talk through it and get it so it doesn't ruin every part of your day, for the rest of your lives,
Yeah.
they're not, completely ruined because of the, one transgression. Now, if it's a habitual cheater, maybe throw that person out. But yeah, I feel like it's exactly what you said. It's a deeper issue in the relationship that once
Right.
addressed, maybe it brings you closer, maybe it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
As long as you don't let it fester and ruin everything that you have built together.
Yeah. And like when I was younger and still had more of that jealousy in me and more of the immature side of, relationships, um, I think I would have felt, if someone cheats on you one time, that's it.
Yeah.
Be done with them and everything. And now that I'm getting older, and I know about, older people in my family where, well, yeah, so and so cheated, back when they were younger, but they worked it out. And I'm like, when I was younger, it'd have been like, why would they have worked that out? And now I'm getting older, I'm seeing that there is a lot more to a relationship than sex.
So much
There's
more.
so much more. And is it worth throwing away the rest of your life with this person because they fucked up one time?
Yeah.
Is it worth that? Is it worth giving up everything else, over one screw up? I mean, it's
Yeah. And if it is, it is. But I mean, in
for
most
some
cases,
people, it may be. It very well may
yeah.
be. It may be that you feel like you could never trust this person again. You can never believe anything that they say. And if that is the case, if that is how you feel after that, you don't need to be with them.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
because you have to be able to trust the person that you're with. And
Yeah.
if you're able to talk it out, find out what the issue was that caused the cheating, and realize it wasn't something that was just, what, I just wanted to have sex with this person. I didn't give a shit what it did to you. But if it was something else like, hey, we've been fighting nonstop. You have not said a single compliment to me in 6 months. I felt like nobody wanted me and I was worthless. And
Yeah.
it helped me realize that I am worthy of being desired because
Yeah.
I haven't felt that, whatever it is, but just as an example, and then maybe it was worth working out because maybe their depression was going to get so bad they would end up offing themselves or something,
Yeah.
and this stopped that. So I mean, it's just one of those things where you have to decide what's more important to you, this one screw up or, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
There's so much that we were saying about how when you were younger, it would have been a deal breaker that you don't realize that, you look back in your past relationships and you're like, oh, I really did not realize how important communication was because it was just
Right.
fully that, well, they should just know how I'm feeling at all instances. And it's like, we're so complex as people that if you get upset because you think that they should realize that maybe they don't, maybe they have no idea how you're feeling because they aren't picking up the signals that you see are like, oh, I'm literally shooting laser beams that say exactly how I'm feeling and what's wrong,
Yeah.
and they don't see it because that's not what they're picking up on. But yeah, it's that communication and just talking about everything. And I had no idea how important it was until I'm, getting older and I'm realizing that if you don't talk and you don't communicate and you just get upset and you let things fester, of course it's going to fail.
Yeah.
You are going to have these issues and they're just going to get worse.
Right. And I mean, I don't know. I guess as you get older and you start buying your own house and having the kids, or both of you have these full time jobs and you've gotten past that dating stage of a
It's
long
not
term
all sunshine, that
relationship.
honeymoon phase, which is not real.
Yeah, which I feel is almost pretty much like at least, if not the first 15 years of adulthood, at least the first 5 years of your adult life.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's crazy how much you change through the years and how the priorities for you change, which is kind of goes back to what we were talking about before on the first episode about polygamy and polyamory is how you change through the years. And if you both don't change together, it's unrealistic to expect someone else to fulfill every single need that you have for the entirety of your life.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, and
Well, something with that too, because I have had a lot of people that have told me they're like, oh, I could never do polyamory, and I can't believe you like it. But with that, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship either. It could be a friend group, it could be your work, coworkers, it could be anything. It's just that support system that you have. And I feel like people get into this mindset of like, my partner is the only person. We are a we, not a me. And just doing that, and you just kind of lose yourself in it instead of continuing to just kind of like be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's very important in any relationship to have separate friends, separate, hobbies or interests so that you still have the you version of yourself, so that you're still an individual human being. But then you come together and bring both of your individual aspects, into it, to, I don't know, create a better relationship.
Yeah.
I feel.
I
That's just
I
my.
used to be
But
one of those people.
I'm no licensed therapist
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Neither.
anything.
We are not licensed. This is
Yeah,
not
just
real advice. Please don't
I
sue
can
us.
offer I can offer philosophical advice or historical advice. I have degrees in those, but not
I
psychology.
just I just read a lot of articles and have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was going to say, going back to what we were saying about the pictures posting online. So you were talking about how you felt more confident when people were commenting and like talking to you and just saying that you were nice. And something that I've experienced is you have that, and like the hey, you look great, you look amazing. I love those comments. The ones that I never loved were the people who got really graphic. And I feel like that's not talked about as much because people don't see it as an issue. Whereas I know as a woman, like you post a picture and you'll immediately get a lot of likes and a lot of messages. And I've had people be just really nasty about it, like just really angry, like, oh, you didn't respond to me. And it's like, you're a stranger and I posted a picture online. I don't have to respond at all. But then you'll have other people and they'll just be like, they want to sex and they demand more pictures. I've had people demand more pictures and I'm like, why would I send them? And other people, they'll comment and they'll go, you're beautiful. And you say, thank you. And they're like, you're welcome. I just wanted you to know. And those people are the people that I just absolutely treasure. Cause like, that's all I need. I need you to, I need to hear that I'm beautiful, that it's a nice picture, that, something about me was nice. I don't need to hear what you want to do to me because you saw this picture.
Right.
And then to have somebody get mad at you because you don't want to do it. And I used to kind of like try and be nice about it. And because, I do get nervous about people online and the safety of myself, of people finding out, of people doing all that stuff. And then I just started being like, I'm not interested in sexting. I posted the picture. I'm glad that you like it. If that's what you're interested in, our conversation ends here. Do you want to talk about something else? I'm all for it. You want to ask me what my favorite dinosaur is? You want to say, how's your day going? I saw your picture. I really liked you. What else do you like? That's great. But it's just that unwillingness to kind of just leave it. And I've had people too, where they go, oh, I totally respect that you don't want to do that. But I just wanted to let you know that, you made me, now I have a problem I have to go and take care of. And you're like, oh, sorry about that.
I hate hearing that.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that so much.
And,
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Don't
younger me was like, oh my God, I can't believe I unintentionally did this. Let me help you. And older me is like, that's not my problem.
Yeah,
I did not do that.
Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah. But I've had people that they just don't stop and they just like, you say that you're not interested and they're like, I totally respect where you're coming from. That's great. You don't. And then they message a couple messages that are like totally fine. And then they go right back. And you're like, did you think I would change my mind after, 3 messages? It makes no sense to me. And it's something I absolutely hate. And I feel like it cannot be said enough. If somebody says no, you need to listen. It's not, it's not polite. It's it's really upsetting. And that's one of the reasons that I'll stop posting. If I have too many people that in the past, I used to post, and if I would get too many messages like that, it just made me not want to post, because why would I want to post if I'm going to have a bunch of people attacking me because they want more from me than I am looking for?
Right.
I'm a random stranger online. You don't know me. And to like feel entitled to my time, my messages, my photos, anything about me is just crazy from a stranger.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that with another person where I'm just like,
I actually
you need to send
recently,
me this.
so I seldom ever block people unless I feel like it's like a troll account, or a
Yeah.
fake account or something, or a creeper type thing. Like I don't, like, especially people I personally know. Like I very seldom are going to block anyone, but I recently blocked someone that I've known since I was a teenager because every time I would post even the most basic picture, I would get a damn message. Or not only that, it would be he would comment on the picture and say something graphic or detailed, and I'm like, my grandmother is on my page. Like, what the hell is wrong with
Yeah.
you? It's bad enough whenever you personally message me, but because I don't respond to that, now you're going to say it on my page. And I've
Yep.
even told people, hey, like my daughter is on my friends list. She sees everything
Yep.
that people say, and yeah, she's used to me being a pretty blunt person and we have very open communication, but I still don't want you saying graphic shit on my page
Yeah.
where my daughter can read that. Like,
There's no
have
reason
some
for it
damn
either.
respect. And I just got tired of having to delete the things he would say. Um, and I probably could have just deleted him because he really was a good friend of mine for a long time, but it's gotten, I guess, because he's gotten older and he hasn't had a long relationship, in most of his life. It's just more desperation, just getting more and more desperate for attention. I don't know, but it's like, I just can't, if you can't respect that, I don't want that kind of crap being said on my page, then sorry, I'm blocking you.
Yeah. And you have to sometimes. I'm always so cautious about blocking people because you never know what somebody's capable of. And
Yeah.
I've had people too, like I had to make my friends list completely private so only I could see it, because I've had people message my friends and ask things about me. And I'm like, why? Why would you ever
Right?
message my friends because you can't get a hold of me unless it's a mutual friend and you're genuinely concerned about my safety? But like a
Right.
random stranger that doesn't know me that just messaged my friends and go, oh, how is she? What's going on with her? Excuse you? It
Yeah.
makes no sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I boundaries are so important, and they have to be respected for everybody. And it's not just women, it's men, if everybody. Just if somebody says something, even something so simple as I don't like hugs. If somebody tells you they don't like hugs, don't hug them.
Right.
Don't come up to them. I do have people I only hug, people I'm really close with. And even my best friend, we don't hug. People thought we were married for years. and um and he'd be like, aren't you married? And I'm like, no, like we don't even physically touch each other in any way. I'll have the closest we get to a hug, he pulls my hair, like a 5-year-old. I have my hair up and he just like wants me to know that like he's thinking of me, or like he just, anything. He would tug on my hair, and it was just like that was what we did. Like it wasn't a hug, it was just it was something else, because we neither of us are huggers, and that's
Yeah.
fine. And but it's such a weird concept when people just like come in for a hug and you're like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. Or
Well, I mean, that
um
that also goes to the, like how when kids are little and you're like, go give grandma a hug and kiss.
yeah,
Like, I don't
I
want to.
hated
Well, that's
that.
grandma. You've got to. I don't think that you should force them to do that. Like, if
I
they
don't
don't
think so
want
either.
to, they don't need to do that. Don't make them feel like they have to go out of their comfort zone to please somebody else. Like, that's a horrible message.
Yeah,
Now,
I do
you
love that.
absolutely should teach them to be respectful,
Yeah.
you know.
But it
But
should be their choice if they
yeah,
want to hug
yeah.
grandma and
Now you could say, "Hey, go give grandma a hug and kiss." They're like, "Oh, okay," and they go do it. Like, that's fine to ask them to do that. But I mean,
yeah.
if they say no, that they don't want to, then even as a child, they should be respected.
Yeah.
That no means no, and
Yeah.
it's their body and their personal space. It should be respected. I mean,
Yeah. I do like that that is a topic that comes up
yeah,
now, that like, because I remember growing up where it was like, no, you always hug, you always, go and do all of this stuff, and you didn't know any different, and it was
yeah,
like, oh, if you don't hug your grandparents or hug your aunts and uncles, then you're the problem, and you get in trouble and you get grounded and you get all these things, and you're just like, okay, so I guess I'll just hug these people even though I don't want to. And now people
yeah,
are like, no, if they say that they don't want to, then they don't want to and they don't have to, and
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Yeah, that's a no means no, and
Yeah.
that doesn't mean keep nagging somebody and pressuring them and in hopes of them finally saying yes, because that's not a yes. That's a, oh my god, you won't leave me the hell alone, fine. And that is not consent. That's manipulation, and that's not okay.
It is
No matter what,
manipulation.
no
I
matter
have
what type of
seen,
situation it is, whether
yeah,
it's sexual
I
or
have
some other way.
I've seen people, there was a debate over that concept years ago, where if somebody asked you 9 times and you said no, but then you did say yes, they were like, well, you were raped. And I don't agree that it's rape, because at the end of the day, you did say yes. It might have been under duress, and it absolutely is not okay and shouldn't be like, well, she definitely said yes. But I think that the rape connotation, because you could leave in most situations. There are some situations where, from like a
Right.
safety aspect or for whatever reason, you didn't. But it would definitely be, it's a yes, but it's under duress. And I don't understand people who hear no 9 times and then get the yes, and in the same interaction, and then are like, I'm glad, this is exactly what I wanted. I'm like, she said no 9 times. Did you just not
Like,
hear
me
that?
personally, if I was to approach somebody and they're like, "No, I'm not interested," like, I don't even want to be intimate with that person
No,
after that. Like,
you're
I
like, well,
wanna
they're
be
not
intimate with
interested in
someone
me.
who is into me and who finds
Yes.
me desirable and who doesn't wanna take their hands off me, not someone who just reluctantly gives in because I won't stop harassing them about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the biggest turnoff in the world,
Yeah.
being with someone who doesn't wanna be with you, like, come on.
Yeah, you're like, it's not even like the thrill of the chase at that point. It's like, this person doesn't want to be with you. Why would you want to be with them? I actually, one of the worst dates that I've ever been on was something similar to this. My sister had set me up with somebody that I guess we both knew from high school, but I do not remember them.
Yeah.
Um, we were messaging for a little bit. They seemed fine. It seemed like it was going well. So it's maybe like an hour before the date, and I get the text message, hey, should I bring condoms? And I was like, that's presumptuous. And I was like, the proper etiquette is to bring them, and like, if you use them, great. If you don't, fine.
Same.
But to text me and go, should I bring condoms? Like,
Like, I don't have this planned out for how
yeah,
it's
like, I
gonna
haven't
go.
even met you. This is officially a blind date.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a movie. Um, we get to the theater, and he
Yeah, I
immediately is
would have
like,
immediately been like, "No."
see, and I was
As you
younger.
asked that? No.
Yeah, I was younger, and I wanted to give him a chance, because I was like, well, my sister, says he's a nice guy, so I'm gonna give him a chance. And as I'm getting older, if somebody does that to me now, I'm like, no,
No.
you've lost your chance now.
Yeah.
But I was young, I was 24. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a chance. Maybe he's still a nice guy, At least he asked, I guess. So we get to the theater, and I meet him, and he's like, so should I get a hotel room? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just met you. I'm not prepared. He's like, oh, okay. So we go into the theater, sit down in our seats. So what do you think? Should I get a hotel room? I don't know. Like we're on a date, and as I've gotten older too, I realize movie dates. I don't want to go on movie dates. I cannot get to know somebody on a movie date because the next thing that he did was the movie starts and he immediately started pawing at me. And I wanted to see that movie. I picked it. He's like, what movie do you want to see? And now I'm missing it because he's like pawing at me and like demanding to know if I want to get a hotel room. I'm like, can we just watch the movie? Can we just like get through this?
Yeah.
So we did. He like kept trying and kept trying and he finally stopped. And I should have left. I absolutely should have left. If it was me today, I would have left.
Yeah.
Didn't. So the movie ends. What do you think he asked me? Do you want to get a hotel room? And I still was like, I still don't actually know anything about you because not only did he keep asking me this, he still was a literal stranger to me. Like we hadn't been texting for like an extended period of time. I don't know anything about him. I don't want to go to a hotel room with a stranger. Who knows what he's capable of? So he's like, oh, okay. He's like, do you want to go for a walk around the theater? Yes, that sounds great. A walk around the theater. It's bright. It's lit. There's like an actual trail. We can get to know each other. So we're walking, we're talking. I'm getting to know him. I actually am having a good time. Then he asked me again. And I swear.
Like, are you only talking to me right now just to get me to the point where
and that's exactly what it felt like. And it was horrible because I gave in. I did sleep with him. Because I was like, well, maybe if I sleep with him, we can get back to our date. Like maybe if I sleep with him, that'll be out of the way and he'll want to talk to me as a human being. That was not the case. Shocking, I know. But yeah, like I gave in because I thought that if I did, he would be more interested in me as a person. And he was for a little bit, but I mean, at the core of it, he wanted to sleep with me, and that was his main focus. And he might have thought that I was a good person, but his main focus was always sleeping with me, and that it sucked. And we didn't have a second date, and I did end up having to tell him I didn't want to talk anymore, and it was horrible too because even then, he tried to manipulate me, and he was like, I'm just having a really bad day. My dog just died, and I'm like, I'm sorry your dog died, but I don't want to meet you at a hotel. I'm not interested. I didn't have too much fun on that date and I don't want to meet. And so it was just I did end up having to block him because he just kept trying and he kept trying to make me feel bad enough to sleep with him. And I just never understood that of why you would keep going for somebody who's not interested.
Right. That him, oh, my dog died, that type of thing. That's another thing that I really dislike in someone is when they try to guilt you into being with them. Like, well, nobody ever likes me. I wish someone loved me. That's the I hate that. It gets under my skin, and that is something it is such a huge turn off to me.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad. I don't like people that are like that.
And it sucks too because they could be a great person.
They are like I've known people where they're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, but because they do that, it's like there's no chance. Like it would never happen.
Because it becomes a matter of if you don't love yourself, I can't love you enough to make you love yourself.
Right.
And that's what it, that's where it is. If you genuinely think that you're that awful, then you make me feel stupid for being into you.
Right.
Like, well, I thought that you were great, but I guess you're horrible. I don't know.
Yep. That's how. I don't like that. Don't do that, guys.
Yes, and girls.
We're girls.
Do it too.
If you have low self-esteem, work on those issues, find the good things about you and learn to love those good aspects and learn to do more of what's good in you, and less of the things that you feel bad about. Like if you throw your litter on the ground and then you feel like shit because you're littering, then don't do that anymore. Go throw your trash away so you feel good that you threw it away. Obviously, that's not a thing that's going to give you confidence or not, but just as an example.
Just as a general human rule, please throw your trash out. It's
Yes.
bad for the environment.
But I mean, do more of what makes you feel good about yourself and do less of the things that make you feel bad about yourself. And when someone is showing interest in you, don't talk to them about how, well, nobody ever likes me, so I'm a nobody because I'm interested in you. And so, I mean, like that turns them off because it makes them think that you don't take appreciation in the fact that they're showing an interest in you. Um, and it shows that, that you're, I don't know. It's just not, it just doesn't
You
work.
can't you can't let people to if you like something and somebody tells you it's stupid, get rid of that person. Don't get rid
Yeah.
of your hobbies. Do not ever get rid of your hobbies. One of the main things I look for in people, friends, partners, acquaintances is hobbies. I like to know what they're into. It makes things like gift giving easier. It makes conversation easier. If I know that if I'm ever stuck and I'm like, oh, I really want to talk to Lindsay, but I don't know what to do. Oh, Lindsay just got a dog. I'm going to ask her about her dog. Oh, I know this person likes, you know, this person likes Elvis. I'm going to show them something cool I found. And it just, those people that tell you, oh, you're stupid for liking this. I collect Barbies. I will not be ashamed about it. I have 100 of them, and I love
She
each and
just sent
every
me a
one of them.
picture of 2 Barbies she just got at a flea market she's excited about.
Very excited.
Was that today that you sent me that? I think it was.
It was today. I went to a flea market this morning, and I went there specifically to find Barbies. I got
The
a
soup one, I didn't
Coca-Cola
even know
Barbie.
they had a soup one. Yeah,
I
it's
didn't either.
Coca-Cola and a soup one.
That's why you have to go to the flea markets, because I knew they had a Coca-Cola one. I found that one. I was very excited. And then I saw somebody selling Barbies, and I was looking at the table. I'm rifling through them. I was like, Campbell's soup. They have a Barbie.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, it's $10. I'm like, $10, give it. A couple other ones I found that were weird and I love them. I went to a flea market one year with the intent of getting the Rosie O'Donnell Barbie. I had seen it for years, and every time I saw it, I go, who would buy the Rosie O'Donnell Barbie? And then one year I literally just went, I'm going to get the Rosie O'Donnell Barbie. And I went with one of my friends, and that was the goal. The goal was we need to find it. And like naturally, it was in the last booth. We're like, why does nobody have this Barbie? Did everybody just decide she's cool this year? But I found it. And that was like my big thing. And I was so excited. And I also found a Drew Carey Barbie that day. I don't know if anybody knows it, but Drew Carey has a Barbie. So I found that one, and then I ordered the Mimi Bobak. And you find those things that you like, and you just go for it. I ordered a giraffe print. I like giraffes. And one of my girlfriends has a new business. It's Carido Creations, and she has been doing cry cut pictures. And I was like, I really want a giraffe picture. She's gonna make me one, and I'm going to hang it in my room with all of my fan art from all my Comic Cons that I refuse to feel bad about posting. I don't care if somebody doesn't like it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of weird things that I like, but I don't really.
Oh, you're just a
I like
normal
playing video
person.
games, but I mean, I've got like a
That's
Pokemon
something.
card collection, and I play video games. I used to paint a lot, but then everybody started wanting me to paint shit for them, and
Oh,
so
I can't
it
do
made
it.
it where it wasn't fun anymore. Now I hate to paint. Like I'll have friends and family be like, "Oh, I want you to paint this for me," and one side of me wants to do it for them, and the other side of me is like, "I'm so pissed at you for even asking me to do this." Because like I'm the type, like when I paint, I just want to paint what I want to paint.
Yeah.
The purpose of me painting is like a release. It's to get away from reality, and it's to just like get my emotions out onto a canvas and get them out of me. Like if I'm frustrated about stuff, or I'm anxious, or I'm depressed, it gets that out of me. And so when someone says, here's what I want, paint this for me, Like it just makes me
Can't do it.
despise painting. So now
Yeah.
I hate to paint now. Like I hate to paint now from having people ask me to paint so much stuff for them. And I'm a really good artist. I've done murals. I've
Oh,
sold
I've seen that.
paintings.
I remember you sent me a couple pictures of you did a nursery for somebody once, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
actually, yeah, the nursery that I did, I've done a couple of nurseries, but that one nursery of the mountains, I
Yep,
ended up
that is the
doing
one
a
I'm thinking.
similar version of that for Sagan's room when we moved here, because I really liked that one. But I've done, play backdrops. I've done all different kinds of stuff. And I'm a really good artist, but people asking me to do stuff for them that I didn't say, hey, I want to do this. It's now I hate to paint. I can't even tell you when last time. I think the last time I painted is a painting that's in my living room because I needed something kind of big that would go in here. And the only painting I found that I liked was like over $100. And me being an artist, I'm like, I ain't paying over $100 for a painting that I can make myself. So I kind of did it similar to that, but in a way that matched my living room better. Um, I did that one for myself, but I don't like to paint anymore. I hate painting. I don't
I
want to.
hope one day that you just start painting in secret. Like, don't tell anybody that you're doing it. Just like do it. And you know what? Get creative. Start with finger paints. Just
Yeah,
finger paint.
I have finger painted "Starry Night" by Van Gogh. I have a
Have
picture of it.
you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When Lily was younger, she had finger paints. She wanted me to finger paint with her, so I finger painted that, and it actually looks really
You
good.
would.
And then
She's sitting there holding up hers, and then there's Lindsay like, here's my Starry
I
Night
did
by
the
Van Gogh.
screen with sidewalk chalk one, the one that's like
Yeah.
on the walkway or boardwalk or whatever. I did that with sidewalk chalk while Lily was drawing on the sidewalk, and our neighbors came over and were like, "Did you do that with the sidewalk chalk?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, sidewalk chalk and charcoal because I needed black, and so I used charcoal for the black." Like, good grief, like that's so amazing. Like, thanks, but no,
That's a
I'm
cool
a
talent.
huh.
I said that's a cool talent.
No.
I wish I was more artistic, and I used to be the exact same thing, but mine was just I ran out of time, and then I just couldn't ever get back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, the last few things I've attempted to do, like I didn't feel connected to it, and it was like I hate this,
Yeah.
do this, and
I've had artist friends that do that too, where like um actually my favorite photo, I will send you a picture of it. I had a friend, his name is Matt, and he was showing me, he let me rifle through his art books. And he had drawn this like sea monster coming out of the water. It looked really sad. And he has a thought bubble that's of this, classic pinup girl, with the big boobs and the sunglasses and all that stuff. And I loved it. I thought it was incredible, and I still do. And um, I was like, I love this one. Are you going to finish? Because it wasn't unfinished. He's like, oh no, I don't like that one. And it was so interesting too that it spoke to me, and he just didn't like it. And he unfortunately did pass away. And when one of our mutual friends was going through his art books, I said, there's a photo in his art book, and if I get nothing else, I want that photo. Please, like when you
yeah,
scan his artwork, can I have the original? And I do. I have the original. I've had it for years. I've always had it on display because I love it. It makes me think of him. And just recently, I had pet portraits commissioned of my two current cats and then my dog that had passed away a few years ago. And after that was done, my friend who is an artist, he was like, oh, if you need anything else, I was like, can you finish this like piece? So I had a companion piece made for it that has the sea monster walking hand in hand with his dream girl, because that is
Mhm.
how I see it. Because I could see where he drew it and what he saw. And I was like, that's the thing that always bothered me about that picture, is like he was such a great guy. And I was like, I don't know if it was like self projection or anything, but I was like, I want this sea monster to be with his dream girl. So now I have a photo of him with his dream girl, and I love it.
Yeah, Yeah,
That's
and
what you
then
do.
another thing that irritates me as an artist is when people are asking me to do things and then they don't want to buy the supplies, they don't want
Oh
to buy
yeah.
the canvas, they don't plan to compensate me for my time, and I'm like, why? Like, if that is your friend,
Yeah.
you should offer to do that for them. Like, that's a talent, and it
Yeah.
takes time and it takes effort, and out of love and respect for them, at the very least, you should be offering them something. Now, as your friend, they may say, "No, I don't want you to pay me," and that's fine, but you should offer. You should always offer.
Yeah. That always
Just
bothered me
out of
about it too.
respect for their,
Yep.
their efforts,
Yeah, anything. Anybody creative that can do anything for you, their time needs to be appreciated. Even
Yeah.
if they're doing it like they're doing it just for fun, compensate them. I mean,
Yeah. Even if
they're
it's not monetary, like
yeah.
if there's some craft that you do that they don't do, be like, "Hey, so in exchange for this, I'd be happy to do this for you." Do something, just to make them feel appreciated. Because if you ask them to do stuff and they've done it and you haven't appreciated them for that, they're not going to want to keep doing things for you.
No.
Like I said, it doesn't even have to be money. I mean, just show appreciation in some way more than just a thanks.
My mom makes crochet dolls. She started doing them, and I started asking her to do Pokemon for me. And I would give them to friends because all of my friends like Pokemon. So I would find out their favorite Pokemon. My mom would
Punch
crochet
me out.
these incredible. I like Evie. Evie's my favorite. Um, but she'd make these incredible Pokemon and I give them as gifts, and like I would get these messages from my friends who are like, this is the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. Like, how is she doing this? Like, and so I'd send them, and it was just like just something that she was doing because she was bored,
Yeah.
and to like get that validation of like, oh well, I don't think it was that great. And I'm like, my friends would have offered you $60 for this thing that you did because you were bored.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah,
I've recently learned how to crochet. And I've made one, I guess, two blankets, multiple hats, and a scarf. I've made quite a few things, but I can't do like cool stuff yet. I haven't quite got to where I could make a Pokemon.
yeah. You start with the easy ones.
Yeah.
So you do a ditto. That's
Yeah.
what, because I'm like, I told my mom for one of them, I was like, listen, if you ever can't get the face right, just
Exactly.
just do the dots in the line. And now it's a ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to learn to crochet, and I'm just not skilled enough to do it, and I don't have the drive to do it. And it's the same thing with the artwork. I wish I was more like artistically inclined, but I just don't. I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
Run all of them,
I'm really
YouTube,
tired. I've
Spotify.
had like a super stressful day, so I'm sure I'm all boring and I've had a crisis in my kitchen where my subfloor has had moisture that we didn't know about, and we're gonna have to replace it, and I'm really stressed about that.
And I
So
have just
the life
not
of a
slept this entire
homeowner sucks.
weekend.
Megan's like wanting to be a homeowner, and I'm over here like being a homeowner sucks. I got all this money I got to dish out, and
It's my biggest fear.
sick this week.
I want a home so bad, but then I hear all of these things and I just go, my bank account can't handle that.
Yeah, well, and the thing is our house was built 2 years ago, so I really thought,
Oh, 2 years ago?
yeah, I was thinking, well, this is a great house. It's new. We shouldn't have any issues.
Yeah, you should
We
be
already have
good
a
until at least
bathtub that's going to
5.
have to be replaced. We've got to replace the subfloor in our kitchen, part of it, at least we know for sure. So it's just like, oh my God. Because of the people who built it half-assed everything. And I hate people who half-ass shit. Like, do it right. Just do it right the first time, so it doesn't have to be redone. I don't care if your only goal is to sell it. You still just do it right. So,
Yeah. Well, because you never know who's going to buy
yeah.
it. Like,
I'm a poor person. I can't
yeah. You're like, I bought this house
afford
because it was in my
this.
budget. You're
Yeah.
like, you don't think I wanted that, $400,000, perfectly immaculate home that has
Yeah,
no issues and never will.
obviously, that's what I would have rather have had, but I'm poor. So about this house and
That's every house that I'm looking at is minimum of like 75 to 100 years old, and all of them are like, oh yeah, we had these
they were
things in
built better
place,
back then.
but they were. I love
Trust
Sears
me.
houses. Sears houses are my favorite, and every time I look, I'm like, come on, Sears house, be in my price range, but there's none
I
around
don't know
me.
what do Sears houses look like?
So Sears houses, back in the day, you used to order your house out of a catalog. You would get a
Yeah, I
catalog.
knew that they had them, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what they looked like or anything.
They're craftsman style. If you look up craftsman style housing, that
Yeah.
is what a Sears house is. And one of the towns around me actually has a ton of them. I think it's possibly one of the
Oh,
most.
probably because wasn't the Sears Tower? Isn't that in Chicago? And you're
That
from
is, yeah.
Chicago, yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but one of the towns, I think they have a tour because they have so many of the Sears houses, and they're all like respected landmarks, and you're not allowed to change them because it's part of history. But I love that craftsman style, the Sears style, and that's what I want.
Kind of like the neighborhoods in Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
That's what I imagine it would be like. Like these,
I just got
like the Weeds theme
my
song.
I got Edward Scissorhand pop figures in the mail a couple of weeks ago. I was so excited. I was like, because I have pop figures too. It's Barbie's, pop figures, and giraffes. If anybody ever wants to get me gifts, but I got those. I saw that they existed, and I was like, oh, Edward Scissorhands, add to cart. But yeah, that's exactly what it's. That's what it is. It's that like old school, just cookie cutter housing.
Yeah. All right. Well, for real now. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Not you. I meant the
Okay.
I was just ending